And joining us now is our international affairs editor, Armen Georgian. Armen, so before all this happened, tensions were already pretty high. Can you set the scene for us? What was the source of those tensions?
Well, the pictures from the funeral are very striking. I mean, it's clearly a very tense atmosphere. There have been some clashes with involving Israeli police even at the funeral, and all of this speaks to just what a symbol Shireen Abu Akleh actually is for a lot of Palestinians in the West Bank, because was really well known as somebody who went into people's homes to find stories. She talked to so many people in a career that began in the late 1990s, so she was really very familiar. And that's why, in a sense, that the crowds at this funeral reflect that she was more than simply a journalist, but actually a very well-known face on their television screens. But also, the very charged atmosphere that we've seen from pictures from the funeral shows that for the Palestinians, her death fits into a pattern of, as far as they see it, wanton Israeli atrocities committed against Palestinians with relative impunity. Obviously, Israel disputes that and says that it investigates any allegations of abuse. But if you take, for example, the newspaper Haaretz, which in October 2020 brought a whole list of as yet unresolved cases to the IDF spokesperson's unit, and found that most of them were actually there was no conclusion, and a lot of them had not reached the end of any investigation. So there is at least the perception on the Palestinian side is that the Israelis often don't go as far as they could with these investigations, that inquests don't always reach a conclusion. And certainly in this very charged political atmosphere today, we can see that there is absolutely no prospect of a joint investigation with, cooperation between forensics, police, medical services on both sides of this huge, political chasm between Israelis and Palestinians, and therefore each side, quote unquote, will obviously continue with their own narrative. So Israel now coming out with its own probe saying, well, we can't determine for sure where the gunfire was coming from. It could have been from Palestinian gunmen. It could have been from an Israeli soldier, but only in response to a terrorist firing on the Israeli soldier's vehicle. That won't have surprised anybody on the Palestinian side. The Palestinian probe, meanwhile, wants to work with the International Criminal Court. Israel will say that's proof that the Palestinians have a political conclusion that they want to reach, not an independent legal process. That, of course, is exactly the mirror of the accusation that is made by Palestinians against Israeli inquiries into such things. So all of this goes back to this very, very deep divide, Monty.
Well, it sounds like the bottom line is it may be very difficult to get to the bottom of exactly what happened because of those dueling investigations. Okay, Armen Georgian, our international affairs editor, thanks so much.
Thank you, Armen.